Donald Trump is inaugurated as the 47th President of the United States as he promises to radically transform the federal government.
A San Diego woman shares her experience from Washington, D.C. as President Trump is inaugurated. That story coming up.
San Diego County Sheriff Kelly Martinez speaks out about a county policy forbidding her cooperation with ICE.
A scare in Poway as flames race through thick, dry brush toward townhomes. We'll talk to residents who were evacuated.
Red flag warning is now in effect. Fire weather concerns will continue in our forecast all the way through tomorrow and become a little bit more intensified.
Continuing to provide hope for future generations, how San Diegans are honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
This month's classroom hero is the Queen Bee. We honor Miss Wendy West and her classroom filled with bumblebees.
CBS 8 News live at 6 starts right now.
Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
the office of President of the United States.
And will to the
Today, Donald Trump was sworn in as the 47th President of the United States. And over the next 4 years, President Trump has promised to radically reshape the federal government, starting immediately on day one. Thanks for joining us. I'm Marcella Lee.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. President Trump took the oath of office inside the Capitol Rotunda just after 9 this morning, our time, before delivering the first presidential speech of his second term. Mr. Trump offered a glimpse at what the next 4 years will look like, from declaring a national emergency at our southern border to rapidly bringing down the cost of living to sending astronauts to the Mars.
Our recent election is a mandate to completely and totally reverse a horrible betrayal. From this moment on, America's decline is over.
After his inauguration ceremony, Mr. Trump signed the first of his expected executive orders before attending a Capitol luncheon and inauguration parade. And some San Diegans made their way to Washington, D.C. for today's inauguration.
Our Shannon Handy caught up with a North County woman who explains what the experience has been like and shares her hopes for this new administration.
Linda Lopez Alvarez is with a group called Escondido Republican Women. She was at President Trump's first inauguration 8 years ago, but says this time was much different.
Being up here and being part of history, everyone is just happy.
Linda Lopez Alvarez was in Washington, D.C. for President Trump's first inauguration back in 2017, saying she couldn't wait to go back for his second term.
We're just so happy to be here, and we're excited about President Trump.
Lopez Alvarez has served as a delegate at the Republican National Convention a number of times and has met President Trump. She traveled to D.C. from Escondido with her husband and parents, joining friends and colleagues she's met over the years through her political advocacy. 8 years ago, she says Trump's first inauguration was plagued by protesters. This time around, she says she hasn't seen any.
Zero. I think the American people, as I told you before, have spoken loud and clear. President Trump has brought us all together, so I have yet to see anybody say anything.
Lopez Alvarez arrived Friday and has spent the past few days visiting sites, including the Library of Congress, National Cathedral, and Capitol. Like many, she was left disappointed after this morning's ceremony was moved inside due to the frigid weather. That meant people hoping to see the inauguration in person could not. Instead, she and a group of 50 people watched it on TV at the home of Congressman Jay Obernolte, who represents California's District 23, which covers parts of San Bernardino, Kern, and Los Angeles counties.
It was amazing. I mean, throughout the entire city, everyone is so excited. It doesn't even matter that it's cold. I don't even think that's secondary.
Around D.C., Lopez Alvarez says she's seen American pride on full display. When I asked her about President Biden's commitment to a peaceful transition of power, despite not being allotted the same, she says it's clear there's more unity this time around, something she hopes will continue moving forward.
I think all the presidents get along, whether they say it in public or not. They always get along together. And yes, it was contentious, but I do believe in the end we're all coming together as Americans, and that's what comes first.
Shannon Handy, CBS 8.
Thanks, Shannon. A big scare in Poway this afternoon as flames raced through a canyon toward homes, forcing evacuations.
Making the situation even more concerning, the return today of Santa Ana winds. CBS 8's Steve Price is live in Poway, where the fire is out, we're told, and residents are breathing a big sigh of relief tonight. Steve?
A huge sigh of relief, Carlo and Marcella. The evacuation orders that were in place have now been lifted. We've seen several residents heading home, and the good news, they have homes to return to. They saw what happened up in LA, and without question, when they left, they were very concerned. The fire started around 2 Monday afternoon in a canyon filled with thick, dry brush near Pomerado and Ted Williams Parkway.
It was kind of scary, yeah. It was like the flames were as high as a tree, so it was pretty scary.
Sahar Sikar Kiran saw the flames racing toward his townhome at the top of the canyon and was told to evacuate.
As soon as we saw flames, we're like, yeah, we got to start packing.
The Buscas, who live on the other side of the canyon, were also getting ready to leave. After seeing the LA fire, they knew time was of the essence.
We were just talking last week that it could happen anywhere at any time, and so we started talking about how we try to get out. And I guess I'm glad that we had that conversation last week because we had some idea what to do today.
Fortunately, Poway's Fire Station 3 butts up to the canyon where the fire started. So the first crews were battling the flames within a couple of minutes.
They started putting it out very quickly, and the helicopters were here within 5 minutes, I think. That was quick.
One drop after another. You can see the fire retardant on the brush and the side of Sir Hutt's complex. Despite wind gusts up to 25 miles an hour, the air attack, combined with 21 ground units, held the blaze to about 4 acres, with no structures damaged and no injuries.
When we consider that we were able to contain the fire to no damages to structures and no injuries to any civilians or firefighters, it's definitely a win. And it's still not clear how the fire started. The Sheriff's Bomb Arson Squad has been called in to investigate. Marcella?
Steve, I noticed that you mentioned that the fire department was right there. So were they doing training?
Yeah.
Or might have been doing anything that could have potentially sparked the blaze?
So we asked that very question, were they working on something? And they said no, because of the conditions out here, because we're under a red flag warning, that they are not doing any training out here at all. Okay. So they're convinced it had nothing to do with them. This is near a road, so it's possible catalytic converter issue, but we'll have to leave it up to the experts and hopefully find out in the next few days. The best news, though, is that no homes destroyed.
Yeah, you could see that smoke for miles, and very concerning because of the proximity to those homes, the towering flames, but fortunately, our amazing fire crews got on that quickly and the fire's not out.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Steve.
Indeed.
Now, the same weather conditions that fueled this fire are expected to linger in parts of our county through at least Tuesday night.
Because of high winds and possible power outages, school will be closed in some East County districts. That includes Julian Union Elementary and High, Mountain Empire Unified, and Warner Unified.
Our chief meteorologist, Carlene Chavis, has more on this red flag warning and what you need to be aware of. Carlene, it's like a terrible broken record.
Yes, it is. And unfortunately, we're going to be dealing with it through much of this week. So talking about the red flag warning right now will continue all the way through tomorrow night. But our fire weather concerns will actually continue all the way through Thursday, because a fire weather watch, even after that red flag warning expires, will go into effect for a 24-hour period starting on Wednesday. So the most intense under this red flag warning we're dealing with right now, those wind speeds are going to be late tonight all the way through tomorrow morning. That brings gusts upwards of about 80 miles per hour across our mountains, sustained wind speeds out of the northeast and the east, about 25 to 35 miles per hour, and some of the driest air that we felt so far with rounds of Santa Ana winds, down to 4% for relative humidity values. So driving difficulties as well as down trees and power lines, as you just mentioned, SDG&E, especially when it does come to a down power line. A little spark on our extremely dry vegetation could lead to rapid growth. So have an evacuation plan in place. As mentioned, we're going to be dealing with rounds of this all the way through Thursday. And then by the weekend, a chance for some wet weather. So all those details are coming up. Carlo, Marcella.
Thanks, Carlene. As President Trump takes office, many are wondering how he will impact immigration here in San Diego.
We will explain more about a new county policy that limits cooperation with federal immigration officials as County Sheriff Kelly Martinez joins us live to answer our questions.
Plus, it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We'll share some of the celebrations happening here in San Diego.